Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being a viewer and a subscriber. We live in an unbelievable climate. Experts are actually warning that individuals should not travel, should not be gathering for Thanksgiving with multiple family members because this could dramatically worsen the surge. 50 million Americans, yes, 50 million Americans are expected to travel during this pandemic, and experts are urging Americans not to travel. This is just unbelievable. In addition to this, we have the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani. He conducted a pretty detailed press conference today, and it was a pretty intense press conference where he actually told some reporters more than once, "You're lying." Let's get into the details right now. Also, by the way, before I get into what Rudy Giuliani said, I'll be reporting that the president actually made phone calls to Wayne County in Michigan to ask about how the election results were being certified. Just unbelievable what's going on in the country right now. Let's start with the news as far as Rudy Giuliani is concerned. Rudy Giuliani alleged in a pretty intense news conference today that, I quote, there was a centralized plan to carry out voter fraud across the country. And just again, unbelievable that he would say that. Now, keep in mind, Giuliani did not present any direct evidence of a massive fraud scheme, and I'm quoting from Fox News in case my viewers and subscribers believe that I'm quoting from a liberal outlet. I'm actually quoting from Fox News. While Giuliani did not present any direct evidence of a massive fraud scheme, Giuliani asserted that this is, I quote, the logical conclusion reached as a result of incidents that took place in certain states. And here's what Giuliani said. What I'm describing to you is a massive fraud, and this is what he said at the press conference. And at one point, Giuliani repeatedly told a member of the press, "You're lying." So Giuliani cited sworn affidavits in Pennsylvania and Michigan from poll workers who spoke about instructions they had received from their supervisors. He spoke about 100,000 absentee ballots in the state of Wisconsin. He said they should have been deemed invalid because there were no applications for them. Keep in mind that President Trump is trailing Joe Biden by 20,000 votes in the state of Wisconsin. So Giuliani said, if you count the lawful votes, Trump won Wisconsin. So this is what's going on right now. In fact, why don't we take a look at a clip from Rudy Giuliani? Let's see what some of the things Rudy Giuliani said in this pretty contentious press conference that took place today. Let's roll the tape.
We have statisticians willing to testify, and the very patriotic and brave American citizens that have come forward are extraordinary. Extraordinary number of people, extraordinary number of witnesses. And what emerged very quickly is there's not a singular voter fraud in one state. This pattern repeats itself in a number of states, almost exactly the same pattern, which to any experienced investigator, prosecutor, would suggest that there was a plan from a centralized place to execute these various acts of voter fraud, specifically focused on big cities, and specifically focused on, as you would imagine, big cities controlled by Democrats, and particularly focused on big cities that have a long history of corruption. The number of voter fraud cases in Philadelphia could fill a library. Just a few weeks ago, there was a conviction for voter fraud, and 2 weeks before that. And I've often said, I guess sarcastically, but it's true, the only surprise I would have found in this is if Philadelphia hadn't cheated in this election, because for the last 60 years, they've cheated in just about every single election. You could say the same thing about Detroit. Each one of these cities are cities that are controlled by Democrats, which means they can get away with anything they want to do. It means they have a certain degree of control over, certainly control the election board completely, and they control law enforcement. And unfortunately, they have some friendly judges that will issue ridiculously irrational opinions just to come out in their favor. Clearly illegal, clearly voter fraud, easily provable, hundreds of witnesses, maybe thousands.
Rudy Giuliani also said that new lawsuits could be coming in Arizona as well as New Mexico, where Biden leads President Trump by 100,000 votes. He also said a challenge could be coming in Virginia, where Biden leads by almost 500 100,000 votes. I'm not sure how they can overcome that deficit, but that's everything that Giuliani said. So I'm actually going to quote Giuliani here. Giuliani said during this news conference that President Trump is the victim of, I quote, a plan from a centralized place to execute various acts of voter fraud specifically focused on big cities controlled by Democrats. That's what Giuliani said. Giuliani specifically mentioned Philadelphia and Detroit. Wow. And Giuliani actually said that some people came from Camden, New Jersey to Philadelphia to, I quote, vote all the time. That's what Giuliani said. He said that the fraud extends to voting boards, law enforcement, and judges. I want to be clear. I want to be absolutely clear. Giuliani did not provide specific evidence. He made that allegation. He did hold up one affidavit, and he said he could not make public other affidavits because he said people would be harassed. That's what Giuliani said. This is pretty interesting that he held up one affidavit and said he can't make other affidavits available. And Sidney Powell said that the fraud was a communist plot that was associated with Venezuela, Hugo Chavez, George Soros, and the Clinton Foundation. Pretty incredible. Now keep in mind, I did do a news report earlier today where I talked about the Trump campaign dropping the remaining lawsuits in Michigan. So there was that report as well. But where things stand right now, some pretty serious, some pretty intense allegations made by Rudy Giuliani and other members from the Republican Party about the integrity of the election. So in the midst of all this, what has the president been up to? The Associated Press reported that a person familiar with the matter said President Trump reached out to the Wayne County, Michigan canvassers Monica Palmer and William Hartmann on Tuesday evening. So 48 hours ago, President Trump actually reached out to these individuals in Wayne County in Michigan, where a lot of the election allegations are taking place. And the president reached out after the revised vote to express gratitude for their support. Then on Wednesday, both Palmer and Hartmann signed affidavits saying that they believe the county vote should not be certified. So one day after talking to the president, these two canvassers basically said the county vote should not be certified. Then after that, the Washington Post reported that this is what Monica Palmer said, I quote, "I did receive a call from President Trump late Tuesday evening after the meeting." That's what Monica Palmer said. She's one of the two Republican members of the 4-member Wayne County Canvassing Board. And she also said he was checking in to make sure I was safe after hearing the threats and doxing that had occurred. Quite incredible. In fact, here's a headline of an article on your screen from the Washington Post. The headline reads, "Wayne County Republican who has to rescind her vote certifying election results says Trump called her." Now here's something interesting. President Trump also invited leaders from Michigan's Republican-controlled state legislature to meet with him tomorrow, Friday, in Washington, D.C. So President Trump did indeed make that invitation. And in case you're wondering why, here's the fact. The Republican-controlled state legislature could, if they wanted, in theory, step in to award all the 16 electoral college votes in Michigan if the state board of canvassers does not certify a winner. Now keep in mind, the state board of canvassers, if they don't certify a winner, then those 16 electoral college votes in theory could be reallocated by the Republican-controlled state legislature to President Trump. Now keep in mind, earlier this week, Michigan Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey, who's a Republican, said that Biden is the president-elect and that an effort to award Michigan's electoral votes to Trump is not going to happen. That's what he basically said. So I'm not sure if the president's efforts will lead to a shift in the direction of the certification of the votes in Michigan, but you can see what's going on and you can judge for yourself. Biden is winning the state of Michigan by a wide margin, by more than 148,000 votes, and the state board of canvassers is still scheduled to hold a hearing on Monday to certify the results in the state of Michigan. But I want to be clear, never in the history of our country have we had a president directly reach out to the officials who must certify the election results in favor of his opponent. So we've never seen that before in the history of our country. I just want our viewers and subscribers to be aware of that. Now, in affidavits that were signed on Wednesday evening in the past 24 hours, the two GOP members, the Republican members of the board, alleged that they were improperly pressured into certifying the election, and they accused Democrats of reneging on a promise to audit votes in Detroit. In an interview, Palmer estimated that she talked with the president for about 2 minutes, and she said she felt no pressure to change her vote, and she did say that she had received messages threatening her and her family this week. She said, and I quote, "His concern was about my safety and that was really touching. He's a really busy guy and to have his concern about my safety was appreciated." When she was asked if they had discussed the presidential vote count, she said, I quote, "It's hard for me to describe. There was a lot of adrenaline and stress going on. There were general comments about different states, but we really didn't discuss the details of the certification." She said, "It was not pressure. It was genuine concern for my safety." Now, I want to be clear, Jonathan Kinloch, who's a Democrat and the board's vice chairman, told the Washington Post that it's too late for the pair to actually reverse course, as the certified results have already been sent to the Secretary of State in accordance with state rules. So he lashed out at the Republicans over their request and he said, do they understand how they are making us look as a body? We have such an amazing and important role in the democratic process and they are turning it on its head. Now, I did report earlier today that the Trump campaign had dropped a lawsuit it had filed in federal court to block Michigan from certifying its election results. In explaining the move, Trump's lawyers actually said that the Wayne County Board had voted not to certify the county's results, which, by the way, is not correct. They did indeed vote to do that, but now we have these affidavits that are essentially creating some confusion publicly, and hopefully that's being made clear to you in this video. Now, here's a comment from Tracy Wimmer, who's a spokeswoman for Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. She said there is no legal mechanism for them to rescind their vote. Their job is done, and the next step in the process is for the Board of State Canvassers to meet and certify. So we can expect the certification of the results in the state of Michigan next week. It's pretty incredible what's going on in the state of Michigan. The president getting involved, Rudy Giuliani also making some pretty intense accusations. Let me know what you think about all these developments in the comment section below. You'll find a link to all of our news sources in the description section below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. That's 2 p.m. Get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000, that's 70000. You'll get added to our SMS alerts list going forward. Now, if you want, you can also get added to our email list. Simply go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts, and you'll get added to our email list. You can opt out of the SMS list or the email list at any point in time that you want, no worries. Sometimes YouTube does not send out notifications on time. That just happens with technology. So all you have to do is simply go to youtube.com/ignition time. That's youtube.com/ignition time, and then bookmark our channel. This way you can visit the homepage of our channel and watch our videos at any point in time that you want. You're not dependent on the YouTube notifications. Speaking of notifications, follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. We release exclusive content specifically for our Instagram community. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is also ignition_time. That's ignition_time. You'll get real-time alerts from us about breaking news that impacts your financial future. The Ignition Time channel is about the country, it's about the economy, and it's about money. So any important news pertaining to the country, the economy, and the money, you can depend on Ignition Time to provide you with that news. If you learn something new from this video, please share this video with friends and family. You'll always find a link to all our resources in the description section below. And as always, please comment below. Our community is growing, our community is respectful, our community is bipartisan, extremely intelligent, and you'll learn a lot from other members of our community. Finally, if you learn something new from this video, please ignite the like button, because the name of our channel is Ignition Time. Please also ignite the subscribe button, and don't forget to enable notifications. That really helps out the YouTube algorithm. We work very hard behind the scenes and we work hard to bring you this information. So all we ask is that you subscribe and you enable notifications. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Talk to you soon. Bye.